Well, welcome back to another episode here. There's been, I will say, since the last video, you probably won't recognize some of the areas. I've been doing a lot of tweaking and changing, and taking some of the advice from the comments and listening to it. And, kind of being honest, I guess, with myself, because I said that these weren't sewers. I guess I kind of lied, because, the air ducts now pretty much look like sewers, and I had to do something like that, in my opinion, in order to kind of add a little bit of variety to the map. Because it did look like this, if you remember. You should, it hasn't been that long for you if you've been watching the videos. It was pretty much just like this, and then pathing around. There wasn't really anything to the air ducts, and if I was going to have the player spend any amount of time in there, it would have become extremely boring real quick. Not to say this design isn't going to be boring, but, you know, had to do something to add a little bit more variety to it, in my opinion. I'm still open to suggestions on the air ducts here, on the maintenance tunnels, whatever you want to call them, because they still look kind of off to me. I think one of the things that I need to do is I need to add dirt. I need to add actual soil in places, because this isn't a sewer. I'm still going to maintain the fact that it's air ducts / maintenance tunnels, but the only reason there's water here is because pipes have broken around the station, parts are flooding, different things like that, and water is starting to pool up in some of the lower places of the station. And it's done things like this, where it's flooded areas, it's eroded a wall, and it's tumbling into a little cavern. It's eroded a wall through here, and I'll probably have it drain off into this little hole here, where it's eroded bits of the floor away. So I'm trying to do things like this, like right here, where, you know, you can see it's eroded through the wall and it's got dirt showing. Otherwise, it's just the metal still, like it should be. So there's not going to be water eroding everywhere, just in, you know, certain parts of the station. And some parts are just a cavern, some parts are just a chasm that, you know, drops into the ground. It's got support tiles and things like that. Again, mostly just, I gotta add some variety to this place, a little bit of change. And I haven't done any parallaxing on this level yet. One of the things I might parallax into the middle here is dirt. Well, I guess I can't really parallax too much up here. Maybe pipes, more pipes and stuff. Because this is actually where the rooms are. Right now we're underneath the rooms. Whenever we enter the air duct, we drop down through a door and are walking beneath the floor. So lots of different things we can do. Got a lot of new different music to try out too. I just need something I can have in the background for now. It's difficult for me to find music that I can settle on for dungeons, and I still need a whole bunch of character themes. I need battle music, boss music, game over music. But it's all slowly starting to work out here. Let's see. You can see I've got more mobs placed around, trying to figure out how they're going to path, and how the player is going to interact with them. That way it's not too annoying to travel around. Most of the monsters you'll be able to avoid. I think I've mentioned that. I will force a few fights though. Let's see. Oh yeah, one of the new things since the last video, I'm starting to use the region tiles here. I'm using, let's see. I can't really pronounce, no, it's Yanfly Move Restrict. That allows me to set off little, to map out areas that the player can't go through, and players that NPCs can't go through. So 63 is a corral for NPC mobs. They won't be able to move through here, so here's a block like, let's see, I've got a mob here, so this mob can path through here, up and down, and he can't go any further than the 63s, though. And I've got mobs in here, and so they can, run around in here, and they'll chase the player, but only to the boundaries. And one thing that I'm going to do, which will be a behind-the-scene mechanic, is I'm going to have pathing around almost every encounter. If you don't know the way around the encounters, there's a pretty good chance you'll probably get attacked. But if you can find the path around where the monsters can't get you, then you'll be safe, because that's one of the things I remember most about Chrono Trigger combat, is that if you've played it enough, you can actually learn how to squeeze your way through some really tight situations, which I always thought was neat, because if you have visual monsters, there should be a way to avoid them. But I'll probably have to force a few encounters along the way, anyways, that aren't boss fights, just to force a little bit of difficulty onto the player, make them use their resources and stuff. If you want to know, 63, I mentioned, is to block the AI, 61 blocks the AI and the player, and 62, if I have any of that around, is only a player block. So there's all different ways you can utilize those different blocks to corral the player and the AI into certain areas. Let's see, what else has changed? I need commentary on a lot of stuff. I need to stream this again. I had planned to stream over the weekend. However, some things came up and I did not get the chance to stream. But I will be streaming this again because I thought that was kind of fun. But let's see here. Give me a second. Let me think. What have I changed that we can check out? Okay, well, I guess I could take you guys through the opening game now and show you the areas that I've got fleshed out a little bit. I still don't have a whole bunch of things mapped out. Like, I don't even have the first 10 minutes of the game set up yet. I've got a whole bunch of different events that need to be chained together and have filler content put in the middle of them. By filler content, I mean like grind areas where the player has to travel through and test their strength in order to get to the next plot point. I've got several plot areas kind of mapped out. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I'll just start a game here. I'll show you guys what I've got so far, that way you can leave some commentary, because it might be till the weekend before I can try to stream again. But I will be working on this in the meantime regardless. So let's turn transparency on. Test everything out the way that it should be ran. If the player was just starting. I'm not going to read the dialogue though, because it's still all placeholder. I do have a new sprite for the player, because I decided that it's not going to be Jaden, if you even cared. It's not going to be Jaden that is pulled out of the cryopod there. It's Norin. He's the one that is first pulled out of the pod there. You'll bump into Jaden, the engineer, later, probably while attempting to work on something that would require his help. Let's see. Yeah, and then Dennis, he should walk back there and start checking things out. Still need to change the dialogue there to reflect that that's no longer Jaden. Let's see. Yeah, I can't go through there. I shouldn't be able to path. The AI has bolted the door shut. You'll have to find another way out of here. I actually need to change that first one because the AI hasn't bolted the door yet. I should probably change that to it wouldn't be to some thing that says it wouldn't be nice to leave your rescuers here. So talk to them first, and then before we try to leave the room, the AI will have bolted us in here. It sends in its little robot. We beat the robot. The AI locks the room down. so that we can't escape here. There we go. It'll be a pretty easy fight, but I do plan to make it so that the player can die there. If you were just absolutely horrible. Let's see. Yeah, the door is still bolted. Looks like that cryopod I still need to kind of fix because it shouldn't be blue. It's probably just a wrong event setup. And access to the air ducts, right? No, wrong. We don't have access because I have, let me guess, I blocked it off. Yup. One of the things I've been worried about is I've been messing with my tile set, and I am worried about some of my pathing, that the player might be able to walk on a shadow and get outside the map, or walk on basically a tile that I've placed down without even thinking about it, and just break the map, which I'm trying to avoid. So I'm starting to use that Yanfly region mapper, like I've mentioned, to block out sections of the map that I don't want the player to walk on. Okay. We'll go through this real quick. Thankfully it's not that long. Even though it will be a little, it'll be longer. This opening scene will be probably twice as long by the time I'm done. Because there will be a little bit more dialogue there. This fight will be a little bit more difficult and time consuming. There will be hopefully a little intro before you get pulled out of the cryopod that explains the backstory for the colony. There we go. And so we enter the air ducts. There will be another cutscene when you come in here that says the safe room is to the northwest. Just follow the hallway there and try to avoid the water, or something like that. Instead of actually leading the player there, I'll just tell the player. I'll have Emma or Dennis tell the player to go up there. And they don't have to go up there. They can wander around and explore the air ducts here. There'll be monsters that they can fight. Maybe some treasures they can find. You can see this place leads to the turbine room, eventually. But if they try to enter it now, the wind is too strong. Because the air is flowing. The turbines are blowing at full speed, pumping air through the station, and that's just a little gameplay mechanic to cut that area off from them. There'll be a long winding tunnel and multiple rooms on the other side of that will ultimately lead up to the turbine room, which has a boss fight. So it's going to be a tougher area that I don't want the player to stumble into yet. And little rest area back here maybe. I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I may have that be a little quest. You'll be able to go there and rescue some people and send them back to the safe room. And maybe they'll give you a side quest or something like that later on. Let's see. Oh yeah. Little baby is here. I'll say this is a straight throwback to Final Fantasy VI. To the dragons in Final Fantasy VI that you could hunt down. These are babies. There's a baby down here. Do you want to stomp on it? Now, if you stomp on it, you get biomass, which you can trade in for credits, because you now have a dead baby in your hands. So we say no. We decide to let the baby be and let it wander around. If you say yes, again, you get some biomass from it, and who knows what else will happen to you. You don't want to be known as a baby stomper, do you? It's just mean. So, let's go to the safe room. There's a safe path through the back there. Welcome back, and you've brought a friend. Familiar, huh? So yes, this is the safe room. That's the door guard. You can see, you know, a lovely lady here and her little kid. Wee, Mommy said I'm 508 years old now. Does that mean I can smoke too? No, it does not. And, who knows, if you rescue NPCs, you might find them out here, and you can talk to them and things like that. It's pretty simple to adjust with a switch that you add. And this is the safe room. Still not fleshed out. One of my biggest problems right now is finding set pieces to actually add decorations. It's hard. There's not a lot of sci-fi pieces out there. that actually blend together and don't clash, which is kind of sad. If I had been making a medieval fantasy game, good lord, I'd have unlimited resources at my fingertips. But yes, this will be one area. There will be people resting here. This is where you'll come to switch your party members in and out at some point. New ones that you find will come here to kind of help out with the survival situation. And up here is another room. This is the sleeping quarters. Got a little event here. Here's a future character. Excuse me. You'll meet her, you'll see her real quick into the story, the first time you come into this room, and then you'll bump into her later on, I'm sure. Got various decorations and NPCs resting back here. You can talk to all of them. They'll all have a sad story for you or something. I'm thinking that this right here will end up being the save point, even though I'm still not entirely sure. And if you use the action key on it... It's a light hex. There must be a nanomancer around. I don't know what to call mages in this yet. Again, you know, I'm not sure if they're going to use magic. I'm not sure if it's, you know, technology. But basically, if it's, what's the saying? If it's too advanced, it may as well be magic to people. So, nanomancer is the best I can come up with for now. You can see various supplies and things here. You might be able to loot some of them. I'm still not sure yet. Various people that you can talk to. Engineers. They'll give you plot points about ruptured pipes and things like that that will explain things, hopefully. That'll hopefully make some of my design decisions make sense. We've got to find a way to stop these leaking pipes, but as long as the AI has control of everything, it's a waste of effort. As soon as we switch off the water somewhere, it can just, you know, instantly turn it back on. We've got to find a way to sever its connections. Books, again, a throwback to Space Station 13, or not Space Station 13, but Star Ocean. Just various things around that you can examine. Here's a radio. You'll probably be able to examine these around the station for little bits of information. In the start of the game, the radios will be dead because the AI is jamming the radio frequencies, not allowing the crew to communicate. So it'll just be dead air the first time you examine it. Maybe with a distress signal or something like that that plays. You know, more people to talk to. They'll give more information about what's going on. And this was something that I actually liked from Chrono Trigger. And again, I'm gonna use it because I think it's an extremely great idea and does add atmosphere. But a bard, somebody that you can talk to. And I'm sure that there's been bards that'll play songs in dozens of other games, so take your pick where it came from. But yeah, you'll be able to talk to them and choose a type of song to play. If I can figure out how to do it, I'll have them play a random song too. But, you know, how about a happy song? Here's a real crowd pleaser. And hopefully the safety room here, the safe room, the sleep room, hopefully it'll become like a base of operations for the player where they don't mind actually coming back to. I would prefer it if I can get NPCs to change in and out kind of frequently. That way it gives a reason to come back here and get, you know, maybe additional story bits or something like that. I don't want to make it a burden, though, where the player has, like, again, in Star Ocean, the one that I'm playing through now, where there's all these backstories and interesting tidbits of information, but if you want to actually see them, you have to do so much backtracking and running around. I preferred Final Fantasy VI's approach, where there was little backstory pieces hidden here and there, and they were easy to stumble across, in my opinion. You could miss them, for sure, but there was clues that would point you where to find them, and I'm hoping to have something kind of like that. Let's see, what else do I have set up? That room is parallaxed, if you didn't notice. This room's not parallaxed yet, because I need more designs. I don't know if they should have a fire in here. I want them to have something that they set around, but I don't think a fire is it. Unless I could change the fire into like pile of office furniture and papers or something. Because where did they get lumber from? Where did they get logs from? I guess they could have destroyed some of these potted plants that they've grabbed. That's another thing I wanted to add. You know, even though this is a sad place, people are kind of down and depressed, they did try to grab a few things that would cheer them up. Like plants and things like that. So, what else do we have around here? There are a few more maps. Got some bats right there. I don't trust this robot. Go away. Okay, he stopped. Sometimes they do stop in their pathing. I have them set up to do that. Okay, so let's see. We've got the West Hall. I'm going to check these rooms, make sure they still are working. Okay. This cryo room. Actually, this map is kind of off. It's broken a little bit. I need to fix it. Do a little bit of editing on it. So that room's fine. This room... Can I still do a lap? Yes. Good deal. Nope, see, that's one thing I need to know. That door should be opened once you come through the other side there. In fact, you may not even have to hack the door or something. Maybe the AI will just unbolt the door because it notices that you're no longer in there. I don't know how much explaining I actually need to do. So, and this room. This is another room that I'm working on. Because, again, I'm trying to find ways to break up the monotony of the rooms. That way, each room is kind of a, you know, it's hopefully interesting to explore, that you're always seeing something new. I put a telltale sign of this room out here. This will look better by the time I'm done, but there's mold and slime growing on the wall, leaking out between the tiles. That should be a clue that something's wrong, and it is. Something is wrong in this room. You can see the pipes have burst. They eroded away the inside of the wall here. Plants have grown through them. The flooding water has actually, you know, washed away the floor in here, washed away the cryopods. This room's a complete wash at this point. I'll probably have water sparkles or an animation coming out of here a little bit at some point. I just don't know how to do it yet. This was, again, another kind of quick mock-up with parallaxing, because I wanted to see how it would look walking behind the wall if you erased a part of it, and it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look too bad. The plants really shouldn't have a shadow there like that, and some other things that need fixed, but it'll do. It works, and hopefully it's intuitive enough that the player realizes that they can walk behind some of these items. Whoops. And again, I don't know the pacing of the game yet. I don't know a whole lot of the intro plot, so I'm not sure if this will be the first area that you'll come through. I'm thinking it will be. You'll probably come through that vent. It'll be one of the only ones unlocked, and then you can come over here. And this will be the start of a grind area, maybe, to get to the next plot point. There'll be monsters and maybe a little cutscene here and there. These pillars you can't walk behind yet, but you will be able to. And I don't know if I'll leave the shadows this long. It depends where I decide the light source is going to be. This door will not lead here whenever I'm done. This is a kind of a joke mob I was testing out. It's a nesting swan. It's a bunch of pissed off angry swans. Gosh dang it, run for your lives. Give them the bread. But yes, there's probably going to be ridiculous things like that around. Things that there'll be serious moments in this game, and then there's going to be some moments that are not so serious. This is another problem that I'm running into. I'm having a lot of break areas, because all I have are tables and chairs and side furniture, things like that. I don't have a lot of machinery. I'm not even sure what would go. in these hallways. Pipes? More pipes? I'm not sure what goes into a futuristic colony, apparently. I don't think... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. If you've got any ideas about what I could put in these rooms, again, feel free to tell me. I'll maybe try to find it and put it in here. And this leads to the testing medical area. This will be some type of connector. I may have it so that you can see a room below, underneath there, or it's glowing, or something like that. Some reason for the grills to be there. Maybe turbine blades, some fans or something. This will be the entrance to a medical area. Some type of lobby with the vending machines that you can use. And another thing that I'm testing out is different doorways. How to actually connect the areas to each other. Because, to be honest, I don't much care for those one tile high and wide doors. So, I don't know what I'm going to do about them, but this is one doorway. Leads to a supply closet. There'll be treasures in here. There might be a monster in one of them or something. I wanted to experiment here too, with no walls and no ceiling. And I think that this works for a little supply closet room. I think it makes sense visually, anyways, seeing as how it's inside one of these rooms. It's actually inside that room there. And then, again, symmetry. I've been trying to avoid that, but in some of these areas there will be symmetry. The map part's on the side, it's because I have this room set to scrolling on accident. Yeah, this is just a mirror image of the other room. I'll change it up a little bit. Add different furniture in there, maybe boxes or something. I still don't know yet. Let's see, is this connected to anything? No. So I don't know what this will be connected to. Maybe, oh goodness, maybe there'll be a mess hall up there. Something like that. And again, hopefully these stairs make sense. Hopefully the doorways make sense to the player. Tell me if you can't see it, because it needs to be intuitive from the get-go. The player should know where they can go and where they can't go. So this one leads to the medical patient rooms that I was working on in the live stream. Apparently it doesn't have any music, but this front window here, again, this will be the nurse's desk. I just don't know when I'm gonna get around to finishing that. That'll be one of the last parallaxing things that I do. And you'll have a lobby here. This is kind of like a main doctor's area. I might change it up a bit, make it a little bit larger, add some fancier equipment to it perhaps. Then, you know, you can go through here. This will just be to kind of slow the player down, make them take a little bit of time going through the map. I'll have some monsters back here, probably that will jump out, maybe be hiding back here, as well as treasures. And most of these rooms will be the same, because it is a medical area. There's a little bit of monotony whenever these places are built. They're designed for efficiency, and there'll be things in there to break it up a little bit. This would lead to another patient area that is actually, let's see, get some music on in here. Primarily because I wanted to block out the sound of my fan going. Actually, let's see, what's about this one? I think I kind of like this song. Newgrounds has a lot better music than I thought that it would have, if you dig through it. But let's see. Which room was it? Yeah, this is the medical entrance. This will lead to maybe some dining hall area. This might actually lead out to the world map or something like that. I'm not sure yet. I'll have to keep thinking about it. This was the room with the nurse's window right here. This vent might not be there. Doesn't matter yet. And this room right here leads back into an even larger patient area. I will probably change these rooms up a little bit more too. possibly make them actual patient rooms with beds and things like that, IVs in them maybe, and not just a checkup room, which is what these are now. This tiled floor possibly lead back to some type of surgery room, if I can find the resources for it. This might lead to another type of surgery-styled room, and this could lead back to a morgue or something like that. And I'll have branching paths like this inside each room until you get to the boss room or the plot room or whatever it is that we're going for. Yeah, this is a grind area for whenever you're on your way to the turbine room. You'll come here from the safe room area, enter through here, and then various offshooting paths to make the player explore around, get into combat. This one will probably lead, well, of course, both of these directions will lead somewhere. But they'll lead to here, the turbine room eventually, and then to a boss fight on the bridge. And I'll show you this boss fight, because I'm actually kind of pleased with how this is turning out. It's been a good test so far in setting this event up, and I'm sure I'm going to tweak it to make it even better. Excuse me, got a little nasty phlegm man there, trying to kill me apparently. Still sick, getting over it, almost there. But this is, again, if you're worried about spoilers, then you shouldn't be watching these things, because this is mostly for people who want to A, ruin the game for themselves, and B, actually offer me advice and help. But this is going to be one of the first, maybe one of the first boss fights, like the third or fourth one that you get into before you get out onto the colony map, because this is going to be while you're still struggling against the AI. It sends one of its more difficult cyborgs after you and catches you here. And so your team will have hopefully a very difficult fight against it. It'll be Norin, the janitor, Emma, and Dennis at this point. However, this is a very pivotal fight, story-wise, because as soon as this fight is over with, he's gonna blow! No, Dennis! Emma, no! Damn! It's too dark to see how far down they fell. So yes, this is the first part of the story where the team is split up, finally. Emma and Dennis are blown off the bridge and dropped into the dark abyss there, and Norin has to continue on his own to turn on the turbines, which will be right here. The player might actually end up talking to this guy, who may actually end up joining the party. I don't know if that's too soon, though. I don't know if I can just remove two people from the party like that, story-wise, and then say, oh yeah, here's a new guy that you have to work with, because he's going to say something like, look, if we're going to turn these back on, I don't know what you're doing here. You know, I don't know what you're doing here, but if we're going to turn these back on, we both have to authorize them at the same time. So he'll say, you go to the other computer. Or actually he'll say, wait here for my signal, or something like that. And then you'll be at this terminal, or something like that. And he'll be over at this terminal here. And the little cutscene will happen. You'll trigger the switch, and on the screen these blades will start spinning again. Because whenever you enter the room for the first time, I'm going to have the fans completely stopped. In fact, whenever the turbines do get turned off, all fans that you run into at that point will be shown as off. They'll be turning in the story up until that point, and then it'll be something that you can notice in the background. And that's easy to control with a switch too. So I'm thinking that Dennis and Emma leave the group right there. They're forced, the group will be split up. You'll possibly get a new guy here. This might be where you grab Jaden from. He'll be an engineer that was exploring this place, trying to find out what was wrong with it as well. And so you'll join forces with him, And then, whenever you leave this place, this will be the first time that the player is introduced to the world map here. There'll be an icon here that will showcase like a power plant or some type of building that will be for the turbines there, the air, whatever it is, it is there. And then the player will come out here, and they'll see the stars moving. However the map is going to be set up, I'm going to try to get mode 7 enabled on this map, and if I can do that, there's no telling what this map will look like. But it should hopefully be a striking view whenever they're finally out on the world map and they realize, you know what, the tunnels are not all that are in this game, because there might be the hospital, the medical research facility out here. I'm hoping to have some type of maybe maybe some type of security, military building, an administrator's building, just different areas like that you can explore. Still not sure how it's going to work out completely just yet. And what else has changed? Yeah, I really liked setting this event up. To get that middle part of the bridge gone, I came up with 2 ways to do it. One would be to use a parallax layer, and I would just have the parallax layer drawn over the hole in the bridge, and then after the cutscene happens, that parallax layer is removed, and then you can actually see the gap there. But then the other way was actually just to copy the map and transfer the player to it during the explosion, and then have these events set up to run as soon as the player arrived. So I'm not sure which way is the best. I really don't want to be duplicating the maps too often, so honestly, whenever it's all said and done with, I'll probably go with the parallax option and just insert the image over something like that and then remove it. I don't know yet. I think that's it. I'm really not going to do any editing in this video. I really kind of wanted some feedback on how some of this was going, because there's been a lot of changes since the last video, since the stream. And I want to make sure that it all looks good. The air ducts, again, I'm done lying. They're sewers. They're sewer ducts, okay? I didn't really find any way around that. But yeah, how does this look? Should I make the walls taller? Again, I'm not real sure. My perspective, I've mentioned it, my perspective on my own projects is sometimes it's hard to look at what I've done and say, wow, that's absolute shit. So I need you guys there to shit all over my dreams for me, apparently. Actually, I think that's actually going to be the end of this video here. So, yeah, I'll see you guys hopefully this weekend if I get a chance to stream. It'll probably be about the same time as the last stream, too. And if you're wondering about this room, this is the room that Dennis and Emma drop into. And this is just a preliminary mock-up, too. But all of the cryopods that have been emptied and drained have been draining into the bottom of the colony here, and have been pooling pretty much into this room and a couple other rooms. And Dennis and Emma, in the luck of all luck, because they're story characters, they're important, but they landed in the cryo fluids and have actually, that's probably what saved them. So they'll wash up on the edge right here, and who knows how long they'll be unconscious, but they'll come to in the dark underbelly of the colony here, and they'll have to pick their way up, through the caverns, climb their way up the side of some cliffs and sharp rock walls. And they might actually bump into a new character too. I was thinking of having actually having one of the Nanomancers or another character like that actually down here, trying to avoid the real foe on the station, because up until this point the player is really only going to know about the trouble that the AI is causing. The main villain is not going to be introduced until a little bit into the game, and that's whenever the game is going to go from fighting robots and you know, defending yourself from the occasional mutated plant, to kind of an occult game with creepy overtones as well. It'll go from sci-fi to sci-fi horror, which I'm hoping that I can pull that off right. But it'll probably come off as a little bit cheesy. Who knows? But yeah, they'll be hiding down here in the belly of the cavern, or in the belly of the colony, maybe. I'm still not sure how the pacing and everything is going to work out. Piecing it together as I go, for better or worse here.